descended from the same family tree as Lancelot Link, Curious George, and the Space Monkeys of yore. A simple family rock band has dared to go where no band has gone before. In these pandemic times, we need Secret Monkey Weekend now more than ever. So without any further ado, settle into your favorite chair, call your neighbors, because it's time for the Secret Monkey Quarantine Half-Hour Show.
Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Monkey Quarantine Half-Hour Show. Today we have interviews and music from Jonathan Scott and Phil Lee, I Want My Daddy's Records, and a short film by me, so please enjoy the episode.
Raise your right paw, your right hoof, your right tentacle, whatever you might have.
I shall sing no song that is not a secret monkey song. I shall make no record that is not a secret monkey record. I refuse to be known as anything but a secret monkey singer. I am proud to be associated with the secret monkey music. Secret monkey music and secret monkey fans made me what I am today, and I shall not forget it.
Well, we played in England, the three of us, 2 years ago this month, or last month. So this is one, sort of our tip of the hat to one of our British influences.
I can't see. You can't cry 'cause they're laughing at me. I'm down.
I'm really down.
I'm down. I'm down.
I'm really down.
How can you laugh when you know I'm down? How can you laugh when you know I'm down? Man buzz ring, one throws it away. Same old thing happen every day. I'm down.
I'm really down.
I'm down.
On the ground.
I'm down.
I'm really down.
How can you laugh when you know I'm down? How can you laugh when you know I'm down? We're all alone, there were nobody else. You stood alone, give your hands to yourself. I'm down.
Really down.
I'm down.
On the ground.
I'm down.
Really down.
How can you laugh when you know I'm down? How can you laugh when you know I'm down? We're all alone, there ain't nobody else. You stood alone, give your hands to yourself. I'm down.
Really down.
I'm down.
On the ground.
I'm down.
Really down.
How can you laugh when you know I'm down? How can you laugh when you know I'm down? I'm down.
I'm really down.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm really down.
I'm feeling upside down.
I'm really down.
Don't you know I'm down?
I'm really down.
I'm feeling down, 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 down. Yeah, I'm down.
I'm really down.
Don't you know I'm down?
I'm really down.
I'm upside down.
I'm really down.
I'm feeling off the ground.
Really down.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm really down.
I'm feeling down, 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 down. Yeah, I'm down.
Thank you, Lila.
Next, a short film by Lila.
Well, welcome to another episode of... We're going to start right off with some of the best music that is in this house.
We have some Hank Williams.
Yeah.
40 greatest hits.
All right, so who's...
Yours?
Yeah, this one's
probably.
mine. Yeah, and do you... flip it over, see if you know any of these songs. Hold it. I know some of these songs.
Look. I think Move It On Over.
It's
I'm
only
so
a 5-minute
lonesome
segment.
I could cry. Honky Tonk Blues.
Okay, all right.
That's about all.
Okay. Well, very, very good. All right. All right. I like this album. It was sort of panned by the critics, but it's George Harrison's Dark Horse album. It came out to coincide with his 74 tour. He had laryngitis, but musically it's pretty good, and I'd say about half of it is really quite good. Anyway.
Yours?
Yeah.
Definitely.
David Bromberg. No, I wish it were mine. I wish I could claim this one. So this might be Matt's, maybe, or it was given to me. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Who wrote it? I mean, what kind of music is it?
He's a multi-instrumentalist. Gosh, I got to say, I'm looking at all of these titles. Some of these are like traditional. I've heard before. Okay. Big Country. Anybody familiar with that?
Uh-uh.
I think it's probably Matt's. They had like a big radio hit called Big Country, and it was kind of neat sounding. I liked it.
Oops.
Tommy.
Yours?
This is the movie soundtrack, not the Who
Oh.
original. And it's not mine, so you think it's probably Matt's?
Probably. I mean, it's from Half Price, like a lot of things from
Well, he
his...
was too young to see the movie when it came out, or if he did, he was very, very young. But, you know, all right.
George Thorogood?
Thorogood?
This one might be mine. Let me look at the back.
He did Who Do You Love, right?
He did a version of it, yeah. Where's the...
Music is over there.
I don't think this one's mine. I think maybe Brian Yamamoto had this one. But yeah, he was pretty big in the late 70s, early 80s, around here. All right.
YouTube.
Every time I see YouTube, I keep thinking we've had it on the show before.
Yeah, we have a lot of YouTube in this house.
This one, you girls remember this one?
No, I'm not caught up on my YouTube.
Now, Pride in the Name of Love is probably the one you've heard, right?
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, I think that might be maybe the well-known song. Foreigner, Double Vision. Now this, I think, was a hit when I was maybe a senior in high school or a junior. Are you girls familiar with this at all?
No.
It's so funny that you grew up in a world without Foreigner. They were pretty big on the radio.
What did they do?
Well, let's see. Hot Blooded was the hit on this one. Blue Morning, Blue Day got played a lot. Double Vision was the one that probably got played the most. I got to say, I think I only owned Foreigner on cassette. This is not mine. So this might have been Matt's or maybe Brian Yamamoto's. Anyway, that's it for another week of...
I want my daddy's records.
That's right. And our next guest is Phil Lee.
She came from out of nowhere, like she was shot from guns. She went up, I went under. She came to have a little fun. I was not prepared. I get the news when I go anywhere. She found a new moon. Oh yeah, she found a new moon. Really? She found a new moonlight. She came in from the darkness. She opened up her eyes. She said she'd stay forever. She told me some other lies. I heard them all before. stopped me from falling in love with her. She found a new fool. You're joking. She found a new fool for her. She found a new fool. Well, it's me. I know. I hear about it everywhere I go. That's me. That's right. I'm gonna be with her again tonight. She crawled out of the woodwork. She said she was pure. She nearly killed me with that hurt look. When I asked if she was sure, dig it out that low. I said goodbye, she said, oh no, no, no. She found a new fool. Oh man, she found a new fool. Oh devil. She found a new fool. Well, it's me. I know. I hear about it everywhere I go. It's me. That's right. I'm going to be with her again tonight. It's me. So what? If she wants it, she's got everything that I got. She found a new fool. She found a new fool. She found a new fool.
We would like to welcome the mighty king of love, Phil Lee, to the Secret Monkey.
Come up. Is it over? Great. Okay, I gotta go to the bathroom now.
Okay.
So the Ella is the bass player.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Lila's the drummer. I got some work for you guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it pays $15 a month.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
You get a free hat.
Are we your street team?
No. You're the band. You want to be in it? You're kind of old, but you could be in it too.
I'm raising my
You're-
hand.
Okay. We'll just bring Dad along just because. But you don't get the $15. You.
Well,
Can we-
out of the four of us, only Phil and I know how to drive. So.
Well, I can't drive after dark. That's why I'm a senior death squad idea. Did they let you drive after dark? Then
Oh,
you
my.
can be in it too.
That's funny. Well, let me first of all welcome to the show.
I've been looking
Ladies,
forward to it. Very
I've known
nervous.
this guy for, I guess, over 30 years. I know it had to be around 90, maybe earlier. And you were living in Durham then, weren't you, Phil?
In and out. I've been in and out of Durham since 1969, after the Vietnam experience, which ended in Fort Bragg, Fayetteville.
Yeah.
I had to get on the bus, and then they said, I told them I had a box full of official documents and said I was like way too nuts to be involved in the whole thing. And that was a plus at that point. And it was before I had beefed up, I was little. But after 3 days, they decided, you're right, go home. Bus leaves at 5. So, but I met you what? You were where did I meet you first? Through Karina? You were playing somewhere, surely.
Well, the thing that I remember the most, certainly Karina would be a common denominator, but I remember you played a backyard party at a guy's house named Charlie off of Western Boulevard. Remember that?
Chuck Berry. No, I don't remember it. Let's start making stuff up. I'm good
Okay.
at good
But
at
yeah, you know, you were kind of a regular at Easy Street, Berkeley Cafe.
Oh, that's right. That's the Sly Dogs days.
That's
Yes.
right. With the Kurtz
See, I thought we
brothers.
went back before that, but I guess
Yeah.
not.
Well, I do think I first heard of you when you were playing with, was it Miss Patty Band or Leopard Society?
Yeah, yeah.
That was it. That had to be like a 88, 89 maybe.
It wasn't Homer Briarhopper and the Daybreak Gang.
No.
Of your
I dearly wish I had some footage of that.
Everybody does.
I know you're in California. What are you up to up in California?
I'm busy as I've ever been. You know, I made the record with Crazy Horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll send you a signed copy. I found a box of them.
Oh my God.
Oh.
We would love that.
Well,
you know,
I thought someone had stolen it. I said, I think probably Jeff Hart was over here and took these records. He's the only person I know who would do that kind of stuff.
Well, he kind of, you know, I think he didn't really know what to think of me. I remember around that same period, I saw him at the Cave, and I noticed there were a lot of young girls, just, you know, college age girls, just going crazy over his music. And I thought, what's going on here? And I was kind of asking him about that, and Phil goes, one of them is my daughter, Jeff Hart. Stay away from her.
I didn't quite put it that way. And I remember it like it was yesterday. But that was classic. That was...
I've told that story so many times that I had somebody unfriend me on Facebook because they got so sick of hearing it.
You didn't even have to be political to get unfriended.
Really,
Well,
really.
No, those were the kind of the days, you know, like I'd left Hollywood and then, you know, it was at New York, Hollywood, and then back home, you know, to recuperate.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't recuperate very well. I'm not a very good recuperator.
You mentioned Crazy Horse. I think actually Lila had a Crazy Horse question for you.
I did. Well, basically, my question was just like, what was it like playing with Crazy Horse?
It was, everybody said it was going to be like Life in Hell, but they had the enthusiasm of teenagers. It's like they just got their instruments a month ago, and they never quite learned to play them. I mean, they were doo-wop singers, you know, like ba-ba, shoo-wop, and then it looked like the Beatle thing was going to happen, right? If you can think way back then. And so they got musical instruments, and there was no downtime between, you know, they were like playing 6 million bar gigs. They got their drums and their bass guitar and went straight to work with Neil Young, basically. It's kind of a nutshell sort of thing. But they really, we would start at 10 in the morning and work till 5. It's like a job. They have this 50s kind of work ethic. That's another thing. They approached it like a job, but they would argue with each other about things that happened in 1972.
Hey, Ella, what's your question?
Asking, like, what was Durham like back when you were young?
It was fabulous. You know, it had a couple of music stores. It was before the big decline in the 50s. You know, your folks would drop you off downtown, and you could just terrorize the place. And we'd go from music store to music store, go up in the old Jack Tar Hotel, and just run around like lunatics. It was, and that smell of tobacco being, you know, like I've never smoked, but there was it's kind of like Liverpool or something. It was an industrial city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coca-Cola bottling plant. But we were going to town for us because we lived out in the country was a big deal. I don't know. Durham was great, but when the time came to go, I couldn't get away from there quick enough. Actually.
Yeah.
It's just like it got weird real fast to me, and it's still weird. I think
Yeah.
it's weird to come back.
Yeah.
What the heck are you guys still doing there?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Lila's got to get out of 8th grade before she leaves. She's got a little ways
We
to
have
go.
school. I was telling my kids this. We have actual schools here. Nobody's going anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can play your instruments well enough. You're as good as me and those Crazy Horse guys. You could be famous and rich or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to do the sort of the patented closing. Yeah, go ahead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another show, and we'd like to thank you for hanging with Phil Lee. And next time you see him, he'll be on tour with Secret Monkey Weekend, or at least the Secret Monkey Sisters.
I'm a big fan.
Well, we're a big fan too. Well, now a song by Jonathan Scott.
The sun and morning star is
we'd like to welcome Jonathan Scott to the Secret Monkey Quarantine half-hour show.
Hello. Nice to see you
Have
guys.
you? So good to see you. You know, it's been a really long time since I've
Twen-
seen your face
I know.
in a live setting.
Not on some social media site somewhere.
Exactly. Well, girls, Jonathan and I met probably, I'd say 24, 23, probably 24 years ago.
Yeah.
It was just about, I'm trying to think, it was during basketball season and you came up.
It was.
Yeah.
It was on St. Patrick's Day of 1997. Right.
There you go. So we were watching, we played a gig actually.
We did, yeah.
My band, The Ruins, were your band for that night.
Yeah.
And I mean, for all intents and purposes, we were Doleful Lions for one night, you know?
Yeah, you were. You were the first Doleful Lions. In all honesty, that was the first time Doleful Lions ever played live in front of anybody. And you were well,
now I'm really, I'm really honored now.
You're on the family tree. You're right at the root.
Well, so he lived in North Carolina for a few years and he recorded a marvelous debut album on Parasol Records. But I mean, the story even backs up a little further. Why don't you take that part? You kind of do the prehistory.
I was working at an interesting job that I think kind of gave me an opportunity to send out a lot of cassettes, because at the time there was no internet. So if you had a demo, you had to physically dub the cassette, put the cassette in the mail, and send it to a record label and hope that they even opened it.
Yeah.
So at the time I was working at a company in Chicago that shot Spiegel and JCPenney catalog, and I was the assistant merchandise coordinator. So my job was to get all the merchandise, and we had a lot of boom boxes and blank tapes, and they weren't getting sent back anytime soon. So while I was supposed to be working, was dubbing my demo for any record label I could find, and I had the Big Takeover magazine. And so I went through the Big Takeover magazine, found anybody with an address, wrote a letter, looked at it and said, yeah, I think this might fit my music. It looks similar, maybe, I don't know. And I would write a letter saying, oh, you know, this seems like something that might work. So I came across Bombay Records. There was an ad for a record label called Bombay Records, and there was a record on there by a band called Jeff Hart and the Ruins. And I remember very vividly the blurb was by Jack Rabid and compared Jeff's music to Tom Petty, I think Roger McGuinn. I'm like, I gotta send it to this label. I mean, this is right up my alley, and it's in North Carolina too. Yeah. And it was a strange thing that I had recorded the demo, and the cover song that my brother and I did on the demo was "The Summer Sun" by Chris Stamey. So I had this sort of connection to North Carolina already. I love North Carolina music. So I sent one of 100. I think I probably sent 300 tapes to record labels. I got 2 responses. One was from a record label that said, no thanks, we like it, but it's just not something that we can do right now. And the other one was from Jeff. And Jeff was so nice, and he said, you know, I'm just one guy, basically. This is my band, and this is my little, my label. I put out my own music, but if there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. Yeah. So I think, did you put your phone number in there? I
probably did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I called him. You know, why not? Isn't that what happened? I just called. Did I call you, or was it?
I think he probably called me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we just, I just told you who I knew. So I started making copies of your cassette.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I took one to Mike Nicholson. I gave one to Chris Stamey. Right. I think Mike gave one to Mitch Easter.
Yeah.
And I think, is that how that happened?
Because Mike was the connection to Mitch, because I obviously didn't know Mike or anybody in North Carolina aside from you. But I came there and visited and fell in love. I mean, it's North Carolina. It's the most beautiful place in the world, really. I still think that. And so I was like, I'm moving here, man. This is the coolest place. It's so chill compared to Chicago, which is crazy. I'm not really into the scene in Chicago anymore. It's not really the music sound it's not Dolphin Lions anyway. It's not something that was very welcomed, especially after I'd been in this punk band. So I'm like, why not? I'm coming to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So yeah, the connection to Mitch and was through Mike, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
And of course, he ended up playing in the band with
Yeah.
Tony Stiglitz and Joe Caparo with you,
Yes.
and that
Just-
was the live version that we saw for a few years. Well,
Mhm.
girls, they're familiar with your music because I have played them,
Oh.
the first album and some other stuff very enthusiastically in our van while we're driving around. And when I said your name, she knew immediately who you were. So,
Oh,
girls,
that's
why don't
great.
you engage with this fine young man?
You want to go?
Very young.
So go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. So I listen to Motel Swim pretty often, and I was just gonna ask, how do you get the ideas for your lyrics?
That is such a good question, and it's not a question that is very easily answered. I don't know. I guess Motel Swim is a little different than some of my other albums because it's more of a personal album. Those were the first songs that I wrote that were like that. The band that I was in prior to that couldn't have been any different. I mean, it was starting to go into a more catchy direction, but I mean, lyrically, it was punk music, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was at the time infatuated with a girl, and the song Motel Swim is a true story that happened in Chicago at the Holiday Inn right in the middle of the city, which is kind of interesting because the song itself does not sound like it would have happened in the city of Chicago,
Sure.
but it did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was more of a personal album. But then, I started kind of, as the album started progressing, I started becoming bored with my personal life.
Yeah.
So I started writing about other things.
Yeah. Well, I find it fascinating that you went from what you were doing to doing that and doing it so well, because it sounds like you had been writing those types of songs for a long time because they were just well crafted.
Oh,
and, the lyrics matched in quality how good the music was, in my opinion. So.
I appreciate that. It was, I have to be honest, I have not listened to Motel Swim in 10 or more years. It's probably been a really long time. And it's not because I think that album is great. The fact that I made that with Jeff and Mitch Easter and Chris Stamey, I mean, that's, I can go to my grave saying I made a record with two of my musical heroes, and they both are.
Well, Lila, what have you got to ask?
Well, this is kind of just a simple question, but I suppose. What were your favorite songs to play with the Doleful Lions?
There's a song on the Motel Swim record that I still love to play. What's it called? I don't even know the title. A Viper in Hiding. That's a really cool song. I love that little riff. My brother should get songwriting co-credit on that. He reminded me years later. He's like, I helped you write that song. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. You did. I forgot about that. He helped with that.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a real pleasure to catch up with you. Now that we know we can do this so easily and it doesn't cost anything, why don't we just connect more often this way, you and me?
It's better than the long distance calls we used to do.
Exactly.
Back in the day. Hey, it was great meeting you both.
Yeah, it was great to meet you.
too.
All right. Bye, guys.
Right. Rolling.
Oh. Well, that was all for this week's show. Next week, we'll have the folks from Zub Records, Alice Sincone and David Manconi. So we really hope you enjoyed our show this week, and we'll see you next week.